Welcome back. My name's Eric. So let's assume that we have all just finished reading the complete Bible, and we may ask ourselves, what's next? What now? So, 18 years ago, this was a real question that I proposed to God. I finished reading the Bible, and I literally said, now what? And I didn't get an answer right away. I contemplated everything I read. I kind of absorbed it over a course of a week, and it was a long week because I analyzed my life, everything I've done up until that point, and it was a little rough because there was a lot of crying, there was a lot of regret, there was a lot of self-reflection, and I wasn't liking what I was seeing about me. I didn't like who I was, and I didn't know what to do about that, or I didn't know what to do about all the mistakes that I made in the past. And to me, it was a problem which I didn't know I had a problem because I was blind, like, to what I was doing, how I was living. I was very blind to truth. The truth of the matter was I was making mistakes. So, after a week, I said, now what? And God said, follow my commandments. So I thought about that, and then I thought about the book of Leviticus and how many commandments there are, and I just thought, wow, that's a lot. And I said, I don't think I can. And he said, my 10 commandments. So I thought about them, and once again I came to the conclusion that that's a lot, going from just living however I felt I wanted to live and what I felt was right, to going to looking at the 10 commandments and going down them and thinking, I don't think I can. So he says, choose one. So I thought, yeah, I can do that. I can choose one and practice that, or I guess, for lack of a better word. So I did. I thought about it for an afternoon. I remember really putting a lot of thought into this because I didn't want to mess this up. I thought this is a new chance, like a chance to do something different in my life, like to try and be better. So I really put a lot of thought into this, and but now that being said, to be honest, like I was a lost, broken person who made a mess of my life, and I thought it was unfixable. But that being said, I chose you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, which really translates to don't lie. So I thought, well, that's my mouth. It's just my words. I can control that. I can do that. It didn't seem too hard. So I'll choose, thou shalt not lie. So I chose that. And I quickly realized that this is not as easy a task that I first thought it would be. Because the first conversation you get into and the first question you get asked, and if you feel uncomfortable about the question, you just instantly want to just say something that you think they want to hear, which wouldn't technically be the truth, the reality of it. So it's like, I had to really like slow down my thinking and be like, okay, I don't want to lie, so I'm gonna tell the truth. And that was different in circumstances where you're asked to point blank question and you don't feel comfortable about it and you don't know what answer to give, you know what? The easy answer is just say the truth. You don't have to remember anything. You just say the truth. And what a concept. But yeah, up to that point in my life, yeah, it didn't seem like a good technique or a good strategy to tell the truth if you felt uncomfortable. And I don't know why, but it just didn't. So as time went on, days passed, weeks passed, and I realized that this was difficult and it was different. So I realized there was one person that I lied to the most, and that person was me. I realized that I lied to myself the most, and it was in my thinking. I was like overconfident and telling myself I was, good at things that I might not really have been good at, and at the same time lacking confidence in areas where I needed to have more confidence. And I would say, oh, you're not good at that. You shouldn't attempt that. That's not good. And that wasn't true either. So there was a lot of thoughts in my mind that weren't true that I believed about myself. And I don't know how I came to think this way. I really don't. But that wasn't important. The important thing was, let's fix this. Let's change this. So I learned through this that lies breed more lies, because sometimes you say a lie and you got to say more to cover up the lie, or just, stretch the lie, paint the lie. It doesn't really matter what color you paint the lie. It's still going to be a lie. And those were hard truths that I learned, and they were good, and I appreciated going through this. So God told me to master this one commandment, so that once I learn to master this, I can take what I learned from that and apply it to the other commandments that he has. And that was good. That was very good, because it gave me a starting point, and it really helped me to see the truth about me and where I was and where I wanted to go. And it even helped making decisions, which is important. So when I was reading through the Bible, and it said, what are worthless and wicked people like? They are constant liars. And that's from Proverbs 6, verse 12 in the New Living Translation. And that was one that hit me. And I was like, wow, I was that. I was worthless and wicked, because I was lying constantly. And if I think back, it's like, yeah, it wasn't nice thinking about my past. I didn't like doing that, but it was necessary, because I didn't want to continue down that road anymore. I needed something new, and this was better. It was hard to tackle, but it was better. And there was changes that were starting to occur within me, and it was good. So why do people lie? That was another question that came to my mind. And I think the main reason, I think, is fear. Their fear of the outcome of what might happen if they tell the truth. So that being said, you could say that lying, there is some control over your life that we think we have. If we lie, we have this control because we're controlling the answer, instead of just saying with the truth, which whatever the truth is. That's kind of like, if I say this truth, it's out of my hands. It's like, and that's kind of like faith a bit. It's interesting, because with faith, you're not relying on you anymore, and that's like stepping into an area where, for me, I was not used to this, and that was different. But it was also good once I had some good feedback. I remember a time when I got a phone call and this fella said, "Are we still good for such and such a date?" And then it dawned on me what I had previously made arrangements to do, and I didn't want to do it. And I didn't know what to say. And I had already said, yeah, I'm going to try and master this commandment. So I said, I don't really want to do this. And he said, what? What do you mean? I said, yeah, I don't really want to do this. And they said, but you said, you said you wanted to. And I said, I know. I lied. And he was a bit confused, so I explained where I was coming from. I said, well, look, I just finished reading the complete Bible last week. And I want to make changes. And one of the changes was telling the truth. And I just wanted to tell you the truth. So yeah, I lied, and this is the truth. He actually respected that answer. He wasn't upset. I thought he was going to be angry. I thought he might even yell. But that's not what he did. He respected that, and he's like, that's pretty amazing. Like, after I told him, that's awesome. And I did not expect that answer. So there was a bit of faith in giving that truth, because I didn't know what was going to happen. I could have, went along and did it, and that wouldn't have been really honest with myself, because I didn't really want to do it. But in the end, that was a good result. So it encouraged me that, hey, this telling the truth, this is pretty good. So I would do it more and more, and realize that, yeah, I don't have to remember anything, and this is great. So it was, I don't know how to say it. It felt, there's a bit of freedom. It's just like, I felt like, hey, this is a bit of freedom. And that might sound weird, but that's how I felt. It felt like I was a bit of freedom in that. So I feel like, why do people lie? I think it's fear. I think it's, my opinion, I think the big thing is fear. The fear of the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen. It reminds me of, I don't know if this might date me, but that's okay. When people used to actually buy newspapers and open them up, and they'd look for the colored section, like the comic strip, and they'd pull that out. Well, at least I did. Pull that part out, and I'd read the column, the funnies, or the comic strips. And I remember there was one called Family Circus, I think it's called, and there was a father in there. He'd always ask his kids, who did this? Or made a mess. Who did this? And they would all say, not me, not me, not me. And so it was kind of funny, but it reminded me of that, because it's like, no one wanted to tell the truth. They were all afraid, like, what's going to happen if I speak this truth? So those things that stuck out to me when I was thinking about this today. So what happens when I tell the truth? That is what happens. You don't know, but it's a bit of faith. You might think it's a gamble, but it's, if you tell a lie, I've seen what happens when you do that, and it just kind of like multiplies, and things can get out of control fast. It's like touching like a jam jar, and you got some jam, and then the next thing you know, you go and grab something, and you touch the tap, and next thing, you got jam there. It's just, this sticky mess starts getting everywhere, and then fast. It can happen fast and get it kind of out of control. And that's how I felt that my life was back then. And I didn't like it. I got tired of the stickiness of everything. And so this truth was like freedom from this sticky mess that the Bible calls sin. And that's what it is. It's sin. And sin, it's sticky. It gets messy, and it comes with consequences. So I had to learn to slow down my thinking. And I remember when being asked a direct question, that was the toughest, that was the most tempting time to lie, was when I was asked a direct question, because you're not prepared for it. And I would think, and I would get flustered, and I might think, what does this person want to hear? And I would tell them what they want to hear because I thought that was what people did. And we might know people in our life that do this, because you ask them, they tell you what you want to hear, but we know it's not true. But we don't press into them and try to get the truth unless it's like serious. But yeah, so I had to slow down my thinking, and sometimes it would get so slow that when someone asked me a question, I was like the deer in the headlights. It was just like, yeah. So I'd have to say, okay, this is rude. I can't just not reply. So I would say, give me a moment while I think for a second. And that, I had to actually do this so I wouldn't manufacture a lie, or just like off the cuff, spontaneous, like, I don't like this situation. Like my insides are screaming, I don't like it, and just spit out a lie. But I'd say, no, hold on a second. Give me a second. And then I would try my best. Sometimes it's a feeling. If they ask you how you feel, it's like try your best to tell them your truthful feeling about a situation. And sometimes that's difficult to do. But when you do it, it's out there. And you feel good that you did it. It feels good. So slowing down my responses to people was a good tactic to keep me from lying. So I was able to use one of those tools, because God said, master this commandment so you can take this and master the other commandments. So this slowing down of my thought process was a key tool in my mental tool belt to remember, if I feel pressure, slow it down. Even speak it. Say, I'm going to think about this. So be patient with me. I need to think this through. Because if I'm hasty and I just give an answer for the sake of giving an answer because I felt like I got to give an answer right away, chances are I'm going to make a mistake. And I've heard many of my elders say haste makes mistakes, and it's true. It does. We make mistakes when we're hasty. So slowing down the thought process was for me, it was a key, a vital ingredient to help me not to make any further errors in my life or mistakes. And I guess in saying that, slowing it down would be being patient with myself. Being patient with myself. So this was also kind of like a segue into asking myself some tough questions to seek truth, because I didn't know a lot of what I really liked and what I really didn't like, because sometimes we carry this what's it called, not a persona, but kind of like a fake type of person that I wanted to be, like not like a mask, but maybe like I can't think of the word I'm trying to look for, and you guys, you could probably just tell me right now what it is, but it's a fake person. That was what I look back at, who I was. It was like I was living a lie, I was trying to present myself as someone who I wasn't. And I'm pretty sure most people could see through it anyway. And why I kept up the charade, who knows why? Pride, I was just blind to it, didn't know any better. I don't know. But I can tell you, this new way of just telling the truth, it sure did feel a lot better. It really did. And it felt like freedom. And and the Bible says the truth sets you free. And that's how I felt. So I hope this helps. I know I wasn't speaking too clearly today, but I hope it helps. I love you. God bless you. And that's all I have to say for today.